This is episode 451 of Wheel Bearings. I am Sam Abuel-Samad from Telemetry.
I am Nicole Wakeland from Test Miles and Top Speed.
And I am Roberto Baldwin from SAE International.
And last week we missed Nicole.
Yes.
So where were you?
I was in New Orleans. I learned not to say New Orleans like a loser. It's New Orleans, I guess. That's as close as I'm going to get. If I'm offending you and you're from there, sorry. I tried. So I was there with Acura because Acura sponsors, there's a trombone player named Trombone Shorty who is quite famous in his circles. And he has a thing called the Trombone Shorty Foundation that sponsors kids who are trying to get into music, sort of keep that sort of authentic New Orleans music experience alive, especially after Katrina, when so much of it was sort of lost. A lot of those communities were hit really hard. And they help fund this foundation with transportation back and forth to performances and just general funding through the year. And they have this big thing called Shorty Fest that they do at Jazz Fest. And we get to attend that. And you see Trombone Shorty drive up in his little Acura MDX. And then we had a day where we drove the Acura MDX. And yeah, basically spent the weekend in New Orleans. I got to see, you guys, Rod Stewart. He's still playing music.
Of course he is.
He's still going. And you know what? He's
You should
in
let
his
him,
80s.
especially if you like his body.
He was pretty lively. And then he walked by me. He was staying at my hotel, which I didn't know. And I was standing outside on the phone chatting with someone. And I had this like, oh, excuse me. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, oh my God, that was Rod Stewart. So that was kind of funny. And so Jazz Fest, which was an amazing experience, but also a bunch of time to drive the MDX and to, hear about what the Trombone Shorty Foundation is doing. I love it when companies do like philanthropic things like that. I think it's cool. Companies give back a lot to communities, and this is one of the many ways Acura gives back.
Excellent.
And I ate a lot of really good food. You guys, the beignets. Have you had beignets in New Orleans?
I have never been to New Orleans.
Neither have I. So
You've never.
Nothing.
Okay, so
thanks for nothing, Acura.
the beignets, they're like little raised donuts. Some people we have fry dough in New Hampshire that we do in the beach. It's just a big piece of dough you fry, you put powdered sugar on it.
Here in Michigan, they have punchkis. They call them punchkis.
It's kind of like that. But
it's very much like that. Yeah, they make them especially right before Carnival.
But punchkis, punchkis they're filled with cream though, right? Cream and jelly.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, they can be done without cream. But it's a Polish thing, and there's a big Polish community in the Detroit area.
I know that because I'm Polish. The beignets are a Creole
French
thing. I'm going to say Creole, I believe.
I thought they
were
were
different variations on the same concept.
This is New Orleans version, and you go to this. The touristy place to go is the Café du Monde. So I have not been there in like 30 years. So that's exactly what I did. I wandered down to the Café du Monde, got myself a plate of beignets with so much powdered sugar on it.
I saw the picture you posted on Instagram. It looked like there was more powdered sugar than beignet there.
That's exactly it. It's almost just a powdered sugar delivery system, and there is no way you can walk away with that. You're like, I got it. I have no powdered sugar. You get back to the hotel, and you're like, how is there powdered sugar on my shoulder? Like, it's somewhere on you, and you have missed it.
It's just floating in the air.
It's just floating in the air. And
you're
then
like
a coffee.
Batman. You throw one down, as a cloud pops up, you can disappear.
So it was, I had that and then a chicory coffee, which is, I guess it's chicory root is what they put in the coffee at the Café du Monde. So I had some coffee and then I had more beignets for breakfast in the morning. It's funny, so they didn't have a formal breakfast and it was a very small program. They said order from the hotel. And the cards they leave on your bed that say, you can order your breakfast if you put the card out by like 2 a.m. and you'll have your breakfast. Somebody had started to fill it out and change their mind. Well, I didn't want what the person who had started to fill it out and change their mind wanted. So I put a giant X through it and wrote no and underlined no like 3 times. And then I put down what I wanted. What do you think I got?
A big plate of beignets?
Everything. As he's opening up his little thing.
They just gave you everything from your order and their order, right?
So I have my breakfast. I had a crawfish omelet because New Orleans, and beignets. I had a cappuccino. I had a latte. I had a pot of coffee. I'm like, what? I put one person on the thing. How much coffee did you think I need? I had a basket full of like pastries. I had 2 orders of toast. I'm like, oh, for the love of God. It was the most expensive room service for one ever. I actually apologized to Acura. I'm like, really sorry. I really didn't order food for 12. That's just what they sent. So, but they had beignets there, and they were actually, I think, at this Windsor hotel, better than the ones at Café du Monde. which is sort of scandalous.
Maybe they just got them from there.
It could be, but they're like always really hot. They're like hot. You'll burn your mouth if you eat them right away. Oh, they're so good. And then we saw music, listened to music, and got to drive the car. It's this most beautiful blue. It's the, what do they call it? Double Apex Blue is the Acura MDX Type S.
That's the same shade of blue as the Integra I was driving a few weeks ago.
Oh, it's such a pretty blue.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, what color was the inside of your Integra, Sam?
I had, what do they call it? Oh, shoot. It was
mine was red.
The cream color with the blue accents.
Okay, so cream and blue. Mine was red, like really red, bright red, which I actually love a red interior on any car. But the red with the blue was so bright. I think some people thought it was too much. It is not too much. It's gorgeous. And then you have red brake calipers, the Brembo brakes that say Acura on the side of it, and they're bright red.
Acura.
It's bright red, bright blue. It's
Orchid
it's a beautiful
is what they
car.
call it.
Orchid. Okay.
Yeah. It's an off-white with blue accents.
I couldn't find a name for the red on mine. I just kept finding red when I looked it up. Red interior, red trim. But it was absolutely beautiful. It was really nice to drive. And we played around. There's drive modes and there's seating for 3. So you can actually fit 3 people inside of it. And it was fun driving it. We had a very brief drive. It was more focused on other stuff. It was a sort of a lifestyle event. So the car was almost secondary, which is weird for me as someone who the car is the primary reason I go anywhere. So it's like a little more about the car. But it was very fun to drive. I thought it was a really nice car. I really enjoyed driving it. It was fun to get to tool around New Orleans in it. We got to drive along Lake Pontchartrain, which is a big lake, and we went to lunch and had some place where they, New Orleans, they have a pretty big drinking culture, but obviously we're not drinking at lunchtime, especially on a drive program. So they had all these
Well, that's
cocktails.
probably why they sent you a full pot of coffee.
Right, to
they
make
just
sure I
assume
was
that
awake.
if you're in New Orleans.
Well, it was really funny. So they give you, they give you sometimes a little pack of stuff like snacks or whatever when you're on a drive. It'll be like chips and mixed nuts and a soda or something. They had a little pack in the room, and the pack in the room for the 4 days we were there were like little eye things to put under your eyes. If you had like your eyes are tired, there was like saline stuff to put in your eyes when your eyes were red. There was the IV stuff that you mixed, the liquid IV that you mix with your water. There was like, how hungover do you expect all of us to get while we're here? So that was very much a theme. I did not need that. I did not drink like that. I had a drink. Honestly, just one. So
the Acura folks, they're good at the little goodie bag when you get to your room for Monterey Car Week one year. They're like, "What kind of food? What kind of snacks do you like?" And I don't really eat a lot of like candy. Mm-hmm. I eat a lot of like nuts and what do you call it, like trail mix
and stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. And so that's what they had. They had a bunch of that stuff. And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, they had. They made me think of Cheetos, but they weren't Cheetos. They were like a New Orleans brand, like a regional Cheetos company. And they had this little apple pie thing that again was a regional company. They had a bunch of regional food, like little snack foods in there too, so that you could have some gum. That was helpful. Some sunscreen is super helpful because you're in the sun. It was 9,000 degrees. I love New Orleans, but man, humidity there.
I was just going to ask if it was real humid already.
Oh my gosh, it was so humid. In fact, the day I walked down, it was only about it was a 12-minute walk from the hotel to the beignets. And I got there and I didn't change to the beignets. And it was 12 minutes. And I thought, I'm just going to walk out. I put my stuff in my room and walk out. I just had like a long sleeve, like light shirt on and jeans. By the time I got there, I'm dripping. You think I've been outside for like a month. And I thought, I probably should have put on a pair of shorts. I'm going to regret this decision. It was worth it for the beignets and the coffee, though.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's why I was not here last week.
So according to Acura, it's simply just red.
That's what I kept finding.
There's
just red.
Yeah, there's no fancy. You can get the orchid.
You can. Yeah. I saw one with the orchid. They had one there with that orchid. It was like a light creamy kind of tannish color. It was pretty. They had one. I did the red one.
But on the MDX, the orchid had. So I guess the orchid is the off-white. And they have it with black accents.
Yes,
in the MDX.
That was the one. They had one car there like that. It was sort of their chase car. Yeah. All of us had the red and the blue. But there was one with the orchid and the blue. Yeah.
In the Integra and the ADX, it's the orchid with the blue accents.
Oh, I like that better. I like the idea
Yeah.
of having the blue accents. I like it when they do blue accents in a car, like because they don't often. There was the day when it was like the navy seats a million years ago, but now it's just when they do like a blue, like that dark blue accent. I think it looks pretty against like somebody does it with a tan, like with a darker, like not tan, like a chocolate brown. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Somebody has a dark, and I like the interiors. You stare at it all the time. You only stare at the car when you walk up to it. You stare at the inside of it all the time.
Yeah, it's fun. It's nice to have a little fun, just not instead of just having it all black or gray, monochromatic.
It's kind of fun to have some kind of little pop of color happening. I like that. I'm pro pop of color in my cars. So,
all right. Well, I mean, do you want to go ahead and tell us more about the MDX besides the colors? What the driving experience is like?
About the colors. So since I was talking about it, let me pull it up. So I wrote up a story about it and basically whether the MDX is sort of worth it, right? Because it's a 3-row SUV. It's a luxury vehicle. The MDX Type S has a 3-liter turbo V6 engine, 355 horsepower, gets a 10-speed automatic. It's sporty, but it's still an SUV. You're not going to get something. This isn't a super sports car kind of thing. But realistically, you don't generally want that in something that's a 3-row SUV. It's hard to do because you've got 3 rows, so you have a lot of weight to it. And if you've got 3 rows, you're probably not just throwing it around the corners. You probably have your kids or your friends or your family in the car. So you want something that has a little bit of pep to it and moves, but that isn't necessarily something that's going to make your passengers hate riding along in your car. And that's what this strikes a nice balance. And there's also modes, and there is a sport mode that lowers the suspension a little bit, tightens things up a little bit. And again, it's so subtle. Interestingly, so I was driving with a woman who is not normally someone who rides in cars. Most of the people there were not automotive journalists. And some of them had a hard time seeing what the difference was, which isn't a bad thing or a criticism about Acura. It's how subtle they are. Like you have to get used to how a car, everything sort of tightens up in sport mode. It's a feeling that if it's done really subtly, you don't notice it unless you've driven a million cars. And it's very subtle in this, which I like. It gives you a little more control, a little better handling, a little more sporty without going overboard, which I like. I also really like the interior. It's incredibly roomy. It's very comfortable. And the Type S gets all sorts of stuff. There's a Bang & Olufsen sound system. There's a hands-free power liftgate. You've got a 12.3-inch touchscreen, a digital instrument cluster. It has a lot in it. And when you look at how much it's cost, I just lost the price as I was scrolling through my own story.
Free.
I just lost it free. It's actually it's priced really well. The starting price for the MDX at this with the Type S is up there with just the starting price straight up for things like the GV80 and the BMW X5 is even more expensive. I think it's maybe like $2,000 or $3,000 less than the base GV80. Just to give some context. And you're getting a great vehicle. And it was fun to drive. It's very quiet. I think a luxury SUV should always be quiet. It should make the bumps and dips in the road feel like they don't exist, which this did a great job of. We had some construction zones that we went through that were really crummy pavement. And you knew you were in a construction zone, but it wasn't anything that rattled the car or made it vibrate. It was the kind of thing if somebody had been asleep in the passenger seat, they could stay asleep. I say that because the woman I was driving with dozed off for a little bit, and she stayed asleep through the construction zone. So there's your proof. So
there you go. She's a heavy sleeper.
So she was my
case.
She was my proof right there. So she
my
dozed
base
off.
level.
My base level. She was asleep. I was driving over a bump. She didn't even move. So overall, I like this. I think the Acura MDX is a good car. And the thing is, it's been I forget the exact rating, but one of the best-selling luxury 3-row SUV for pretty much since it was introduced. So it does phenomenally well for its little segment that it's carved out there. And Acura has been in the U.S. for 40 years now. 40
years.
Well, I mean, that's
anniversary.
That's its entire history as a brand.
Yeah,
because it started off just as a brand just for North America.
Right.
And it's still primarily a North American brand. Acura doesn't really exist outside of Canada and the U.S. and maybe Mexico.
Yep. But 40 years. It's funny. Some part of me still thinks of Acura as that new brand. I know, but it's been 40 years. But I remember when it was introduced.
Longer than Lexus and Infiniti.
Yeah, it is. So it's the What does that make it? The old school one of that lot? Longer than Lexus, longer than Infiniti. When did Lexus and Infiniti come around? Now I've asked a question nobody knows.
They came out as 1990 models in late '89.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were introduced.
Infiniti had that weird ad that didn't show the car, and it was a big deal.
Gosh, I don't even remember that. I remember when Lexus. Yeah, it says 1989.
They were introduced at the '89 Detroit Auto Show.
Yep, 89 for. Were they both introduced at the same time?
Same show.
No, were they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were announced around the same time. Both brands launched at the same time, with pretty similar. I mean, they both of those brands launched with two models, two sedans. Lexus had the LS and the ES. The LS was unique to Lexus. The ES was basically a rebodied Camry. Mm-hmm. And then for Infiniti, they had the Q45, which was their big luxury sedan, again, unique to the Infiniti brand. And they had the J20, which was a rebodied Altima, but actually it wasn't even called Altima yet at the time. So it was a compact front-wheel drive sedan. It's before I forget what the Nissan sedan of the time of that era was called, but it was before they changed the name to Altima. And so they're very similar, and then the two brands kind of sort of diverged a little bit over the next 35, 40 years.
So Acura beat them by not very much.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, like 4 years, basically.
Yeah, 3-4 years.
Because that would have been 86 for Acura and 89 for these guys.
Yeah.
So, but hey, that was 4 years. That was a little time. They were first. They did it first. So that was my time in the MDX. I really liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I think the pricing is good. I think what you get is good. I think
How much was the
style,
Type
the
S?
comfort. I believe the Type S is 55. Let me pull it back up. Somehow do not have that in front of me. And I think it starts at like 55 and change for the Type S. Yeah, overall that it starts at 51. That's the base, and that actually has a smaller what am I trying to say? A smaller engine as well. Actually, it starts at 75. Oh, that says Type S Advance. Is that different?
Well, it's advanced. It's like Type S, but it's really good at math.
It's really good at math. So,
or it's in the higher reading group.
The A spec is 68. The Type S Advance is 75,850.
Advanced for Acura usually means you get a package of extra features like heads-up displays or some of the more advanced ADAS functions, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So overall, I like it. I'm a fan of the MDX. I think it's pretty good. So.
Cool. Would you take one over a GV80?
Would I take one over a GV80? It's tempting. Okay, so the one thing that Acura has that the Genesis doesn't, is that longevity. It's been around a while. They have a really solid reputation. I mean, Hyundai has a great reputation, not knocking Hyundai or Genesis. But I think the Genesis is probably fancier inside, maybe. But the Acura is a little bit more, it's definitely a sportier ride. A little bit of a different focus. Even the styling. Genesis goes more, I just want to coddle you in luxury. And Acura says, I want to do that, but I also want you to feel a little bit sporty and fancy. So it's a different vibe. I'd consider it against a GV80. How's that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would consider it. Consider it. Absolutely.
Cool. Did you know you can support Wheel Bearings directly? Head to patreon.com/wheelbearingsmedia and you can become a patron today. Your contributions will help fund the platforms and tools we use to bring the podcast to you. And exclusives and improvements are already on the way thanks to your generosity. So if you want to be part of an automotive podcast like no other, head to patreon.com/wheelbearingsmedia. We've updated the Wheel Bearings merch store, and now there's a whole bunch of new choices, new colors, new styles, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, hats, mugs, travel mugs, stickers, aprons, tote bags, you name it. You can get your Wheel Bearings merch at shop.wheelbearings.media. Go check it out. That's shop.wheelbearings.media. So what else you been driving?
So I also drove. I have lots of stuff. Am I going to talk about all my cars now?
That's going to be just like John last week, where he came in.
It's going to be
had like 6 cars to talk about.
So the MDX was the drive program. Then I had 2 vehicles. I had last weekend, then this week's. Last week I had, and I have the wrong one pulled up. Let me bring this one first. I had the Dodge Charger RT, which is the most base version of the Charger that you can get. I didn't even have the Scat Pack or anything. Nope, this is just the 6-pack, just as it comes. 4 doors. It's a twin turbo inline 6, 420 horsepower, 468 pound-feet of torque. It has all-wheel drive, but you can put it in rear-wheel drive. There's a little button if you want to have a little funsies. 4.6 seconds, 0 to 60. 2-door, 4-door. I had the 4-door. I absolutely love this. Excuse me. I really like this car. I've been a fan in the new Charger since they introduced it. And here's the interesting thing driving this. So I've driven the Daytona. I've driven the Scat Pack. I've driven the RT before. I drove, we've all driven Hellcats when they still had Hellcat Chargers out there. I had the Hellcat Durango a few weeks back. Although I love me a Hellcat, I really like the RT. I kind of feel like it is the sweet spot to get because it's more affordable. And when you get the Scat Pack, you're getting power you can't really use. There's not a lot. It delivers that power fast.
Where are you gonna go?
Where are you gonna go? Exactly.
You gotta find a road out in the middle of nowhere with no one around.
Where are you gonna go?
And a straight line, because you got any corners, that's it. You're dead.
Yeah,
right.
Unless you live in Montana or Wyoming, or
if you live in Montana, because there's no speed limit roads there, right? Aren't there sections of roads?
There are somewhere. Yeah,
I think.
I think whatever is safe and whatever. I can't remember the exact wording they use, but there are some highways where.
So if you're in Montana, go get yourself a Hellcat. But if not, I really do think the RT is the right spot because you can. It has a beautiful interior. It has plenty of powers. It has all the vibe that it feels like a muscle car. It's not delicate. It's not fancy. It's in your face, loud and rough. It sounds fantastic when you start up the engine. It looks the part of a muscle car. It's very aggressive looking. There's not a refined bone in this car's body. And I say that with absolute love. That's what you want. You don't want refinement in a muscle car. Go buy yourself an Acura if you want that. In this, you want to get something that is sort of in your face, and it is. In fact, my neighbor who sees all the cars that come in and out of my driveway, and I think 2, maybe 3 times in all the time I've been doing this, she said, "Can you please take me for a ride in that car and we go get ice cream?" It's just what we do. She's like, "Oh my God." I wasn't even home when it was delivered. She said, "Oh my God, have you seen what's in your driveway? Oh my God, have you seen it? Have you seen it? Have you?" I said, I haven't seen it, but I know it's coming because I had to sign the loan form early. Can we please go get ice cream? So we can get ice cream. And just her pushing the start button, she's absolutely giddy. That's what the Charger does. That absolutely giddy moment where you hear it and it sounds amazing and you're sitting there and you push the little button and it revs up and it sounds fantastic right under your butt. You can feel the thing start up. That's what makes this car so much fun. And I really like the RT. I thought about it. Would I want the more power? Your head wants to say yes, all the power, all the time, but you're not going to use it all. And it's almost a tiny bit frustrating to have the extra power because you have to play it easy. You can't mash the pedal because if you mash the pedal, you are really going for about 2 feet and then you have to hit the brakes because you have gone too far too fast. So you in a way, you don't get to enjoy all that power. 90% of the time you can enjoy it. But if you have this and you mash the gas, you can mash it and it's still super responsive, but you get to enjoy that feeling of being pressed back in your seat and just feeling like you're flying for a little bit longer because you're not going quite so fast. And you're not going to break the law immediately and lose your license. So I'm a big fan of the RT. I really thoroughly enjoyed driving it for the week. I thought, no, you know what? I like this. I like it. In a straight line. Very fast.
All right.
I gotta let my cat out.
Your cat is having a conniption. I can hear your cat.
People in the chat are like, "Hey, we can hear your cat." He came in all gangbusters. Let's hang out. Now he's like, he's bapping at the dogs because he's frustrated because I won't let him out.
Go let your cat out, and I'll keep talking.
Keep talking.
So that's my feelings on the Charger. I liked it. Do you like the Charger, Sam?
I am I haven't driven the internal combustion one yet. I've driven the Daytona a couple times. I've got one coming in a few weeks. I think in about 3 or 4 weeks, I've got one scheduled.
Okay.
Let's see. Next week.
Do you know which one?
I didn't put it on the calendar here yet.
So it's a mystery charger arriving in a mystery time.
I think it's a Scat Pack, but I'm not 100% certain.
And someone is asking in the chat, and I'm going to tell him right here. No, it's the Hurricane. It's the
There's no V8 chargers.
There's no V8 charger right now at this time, at this moment. Could it come? Maybe.
Yeah. It's going to come.
They can't comment on future product, but yeah, no.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you can't even get that.
We can comment all we want because we're not the ones creating it.
Just they can. No, they just have the Hurricane, but they have 2 different outputs. So the RT trim is the lower output, and the Scat Pack is the higher output. So it's just that in 2 outputs, or you're going with the Daytona, which is the EV. And as much as I like the Daytona, I really like. I feel like in a muscle car like this, I want it to be a gas engine that goes grrr when you drive it. Just like that. So Robbie's making claw marks. Yeah. Grrr.
Oh, my visual gags finally work for the podcast. So we got that going for us.
I have a 4-door Scat Pack coming on May 28th in Ludicrous.
Ludicrous?
Which I assume is their shade of blue on that.
Ludicrous is probably the bright blue because there's, Ludicrous. I think the Ludicrous is that really bright blue. I had like a dark blue that almost looked black, and it's not available in every trim. It's sort of like a midnight pearlized.
That's what I had when I had the Daytona last summer.
One of those when you look at it in one light, it looks black, then it's slightly purple, and then it's navy, and but it is, I think, technically a really, really dark blue.
All it plays is Ludicrous songs, though, so that's your cross to bear.
So that was my time in the Charger, which I love.
Yeah, the Ludicrous looks like it's kind of similar to the double apex blue on the Acura.
Yeah, it does. I think it's brighter. I think the Acura is a little bit more pearlized, kind of a little bit darker.
Yeah. So I will have that. I'll have that in about a month, or about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
About 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's lovely. I love it. We'll have to see what you think. We'll have to see if you like it as much as I do, but I really genuinely like it a lot. I
mean, I actually, I was like apparently one of like the 2 or 3 people that actually liked the Charger Daytona.
I don't dislike the Charger Daytona. We'll see, you haven't driven the 6-pack yet. I want to know if you had to pick between the two once you've driven both, which you would pick, Sam, but you can't answer that yet.
I mean, I've driven the 6-pack in both the Wagoneer the Hurricane in the Wagoneer and in the Ram, and I love that engine. It's a great engine. It's obviously not as raucous as a Hemi in terms of the way it sounds.
That's a great word to describe the Hemi, raucous.
Yeah, well, I mean, any V8. And this is the main reason why they brought the Hemi back to the Ram, because the Hurricane is a better engine in every respect than the Hemi. It's more powerful, it's more efficient, it's smoother, and it costs less to buy, and yet people want the Hemi just because of the way it sounds. It's got that raucous sound to it. And I'm pretty sure the same is going to be true as soon as they can engineer that into the Charger. They almost certainly will.
Yeah.
And in fact, they did show where was it? I can't remember if it was at SEMA or during the Woodward Dream Cruise last year. They showed a Charger, but a drag racing Charger, with a Hellcat in it. So clearly the engine can fit. This was a concept that was just done, as a drag race car, not as a street car, but strictly as a track car. Mm-hmm. And so they can fit it in there. This is a big car. It's like 3-4 inches wide. I think it's like 3 inches wider than the old wide body Charger.
Yes.
So you can definitely fit a V8 in there.
Oh yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of cool for the cargo. It's also a hatchback now too. Talking about it being big, it looks like it should have a trunk, but it is a hatchback on that thing, so you can fit a surprising amount of stuff into your Charger despite it being a sedan, which I also like.
Yeah, you can go buy a really, stupidly large TV at Costco and, slide it right into the back of this thing.
Slide it right into the back, yep.
Bam.
Oh, I guess, so it was talking about carrying stuff. And I couldn't get my phone out fast enough. I was behind a pickup truck this morning, and he clearly had done a mulch run because there was all this bark mulch sort of coming out the edge of the tailgate. And I was like, look, he's doing the right thing with his truck. And I almost took a picture to send you guys, and I wasn't fast enough before he turned.
Oh.
All right.
So,
Anything else on the Charger?
nothing else on the Charger.
Shall we take our guesses at the destination charge?
Oof, 18.
Oh, gosh, I just shut the window to go to the other one. Dang it. Wait. Oh, no. I have like all these windows open when I'm talking, and if I close one, it's all off.
I feel like this is one of the ones that Dodge has cranked up the destination to like $2,000.
I think it has. Wait,
I was
let's
trying to
see.
be nice.
What did you guess? I'll look it up.
18.
You
I
guessed
said
18,
2,000.
and you said 2,000. Okay, we're gonna Fordo. We're gonna build it, and we're gonna go to the very end and say summary, and it says. It doesn't say.
Yeah,
Wait.
it's free.
Oh, there we go. 1995
There
is
we
the
go.
actual destination for the one I had for the Charger RT four door.
I lost.
You lost. Sorry, Robbie. You were too focused on the cat.
I was. It was just, I turned around, and the dog is just laying down. He's not bothering the cat. And the cat just goes up and just starts popping him on the head. And then he's mad because I won't let him out. So he's like, pop, 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 pop. And the dog's like, what the hell, man?
Somebody get this cat out of my face.
It's funny.
So that's the Charger.
Okay, before we leave the Charger,
Yes.
when I was looking up when I'm getting this thing, one of the fleet company that handles Stellantis, in the schedule, when I click on it, it shows me the VIN number and which vehicle, what color it is, and eventually it has the Monroney in there as well. But it has a field in here for battery capacity, and it says 0.00 kilowatt hours.
It's not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got a high output Hurricane, so that's okay.
You can forgive a lot for the high output one. I didn't have the high output, so.
Yeah, that's like 550 and 420 with the.
I think 550. I have 550 in my head for the horsepower. I don't remember the torque on that one.
Well, the high output is 550.
Yeah,
That's the
so it's a
Scat
big
Pack.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big difference. But I still don't know. I don't hate on it. I just think the sweet spot for what you get for your money is actually the RT, and just get the RT, what do they call it, RT Plus or whatever. If you want fancy inside, you can still get the extra stuff, and it's got like ambient lighting, and the interior is very cool. I like the interiors of the new Chargers.
The ambient lighting is actually pretty cool, especially at night on those textured door panels.
Because the door panel, like they're very textured. It's not a little bit, like the entire door panel above the armrest is textured. You can run your fingers across it. It's got some real texture to it. And at night, the way the light shines up into it, all that texture gets sort of highlighted neatly. So instead of just being a light, it's got some character to it. It's a really beautifully designed car.
Okay. So what was the other car you had?
The other car, now we're up to date. This one's still in my driveway. I have the 2026 Kia Sportage X Pro Prestige all-wheel drive. That's a long title. So of the Sportage trims you can get, this sits at the top. Its base price on this is $36,690. It's the off-road focus trim. The X Pro always means more off-road for Kia. So how off-road? Depends what you think off-road means. Can you take it off-road? Yes. You can,
How far can you go off-road?
How far? It's and it has modes. It has a snow, a mud, a sand. So it has some drive modes to help get you out of stuff. It is an off-road. You can take it off-road, but it's not rock crawling off-road. It's not heavy duty off-road. I feel like this is the off-road that most people actually do. You just have a dirt road that you're taking to a cabin or to a spot where you're putting your kayak in the river, or because you just it's a small little off-road dirt road, not really off-road per se, but it's a dirt road that you just, when it gets muddy or rutted in the snow, in the winter or in the, rainstorms, it'll get you through it. So it's nice to have for the capability, and I don't want to say that it's not off-road worthy, but it's not hardcore off-road. It's kind of light off-road. Is that fair, I think, guys, to say? So I like it. It's good. It's a little underpowered. It has a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. It's an 8-speed automatic, and it has 187 horsepower. It's not a lot of horses. That's a small number of horses.
It's a Kia Sportage, though.
Exactly. That's the thing. Well, how hard was it for me? Hey, we're going to give you a Charger. Next week, we're going to give you a Sportage. Come on, guys. But I think most of the time it was okay. The only time I really had a criticism of it is when you're on the highway and you're at speed already. So if you really need to get up to speed initially, it is pretty good at accelerating to get up to speed on an on-ramp, and it gets you up to speed in plenty of time to merge with traffic. But if you're in sort of heavy traffic and you need an extra burst of speed to get by somebody because you're about to miss your exit or whatever, then it is a little bit annoying. It takes a second.
That's when you go for the brake. You got to make a decision, and the decision's probably brake.
So the decision is not
go
speed
behind
up.
that
The
person.
decision is slow down and go behind the other guy. If you're right next to him, slow down is the answer. And that was the only time. And I was driving in a lot of very heavy traffic back and forth to Boston this week. I was there like 3 times. And I noticed during that heavy rush hour traffic, it was a little bit frustrating because you have to be, especially in Boston, very, very aggressive. You can't be polite, and you can't be super aggressive in this. You can't speed up to get in. And when you slow down, the guy behind you's honking at you. It's just a thing. So that was really the only time. Everyday driving around town, driving on just cruising on the highway, it's totally fine. It's just when you need that little extra oomph, it doesn't have the extra oomph. So that would be my main criticism. Otherwise, I like it. It has a 12.3-inch instrument cluster and infotainment screen. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It has a nice spot for the charging, and it sort of locks it in. It's slightly raised where the charging pad is, so it kind of locks it in, so you don't have to worry about it sliding around, which I really like. What else? You can get the base version of this. If you go all the way down to the bottom of the gas models, it's $28,790. This is $39,690. So it's a pretty big price swing, and the features get better. You can, if you don't want the off-road, if you don't need it as fancy, I mean, you can go like in the middle, and the X line is going to be $33,000. So you have a pretty good range of pricing on this. Even at $39,000, Kia does a great job with their pricing. It's always, you look at what you have in the car and you look at what it says in the sticker and you think, yep, this matches. You don't feel like you're paying too much. You get a lot of features for that price. Even as you move up through the trim levels, you still look at it and think, yeah, okay, this one costs more, but I'm getting these extra things with it. So I liked it. Very nice to drive. Handled really well. Was good on our potholed roads that we have right now, and pretty quiet. I drove through a torrential thunderstorm, rainstorm, like this raining cats and dogs moment. The world was going to come to an end, and inside the cabin is really quiet. Like, hey, you know what? It's chaos out there. I can see the lightning. I can hear the rain hitting the car, and yet it was still relatively quiet, which is nice. You know, in a car that's just a skosh under $40,000, to still have it keep that quiet and serenity and calmness when outside the world is raging by you is really kind of nice. So overall, I liked the Kia Sportage. I think it's a decent little car if you're looking for, an affordable SUV. But remember, this is not especially powerful. If performance and really crazy powerful is important to you, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. So make sure you drive it and experience that before you do it.
So here's a crazy thing that Kia told us on the drive program for this.
Yes.
Over 50% of the sales are the top prestige trim.
I bet because it's cheap in the grand scheme, Robbie.
Yeah.
$39,690. What you get for that, I mean, it is a pretty, I can't read this really tiny list that they gave me. But I mean, you've got the infotainment screens, digital instrument cluster, big infotainment screen. You've got the drive modes on this. It can tow 2,500 pounds.
Some motorcycles.
Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This had heated seats, a heated steering wheel, because I used them because it was freezing, because, it's only May. It feels more premium than you would think for it, especially, but the top trimming Kias do this. Feels more premium than you'd expect in a Kia for a price that's less you'd expect for what you get. So I can see if you were kind of hemming and hawing, let's just go ahead and get the top trim.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you can manage it, if you can spring for a few $1,000s more,
right?
Or monthly payment, probably, I don't know, maybe $50, $75 a month more.
right?
for a loan payment, then
treat yourself.
You're getting, compared to most of the competition in the segment, you're getting quite a bit for it's a good value, and
it is.
Hyundai and Kia don't like us to talk about value anymore. They don't want to be considered the value brand, but the reality is, even though the price gap is closer now than it used to be, they're still generally a very good value.
I think that I never heard them say that. They don't want to be thought of as, but they are the value brand, and that's a good thing.
You get a lot for your money.
Well,
because there's a difference. There's a difference between being the value brand and being the cheap brand.
I think
different things.
Well, I think that's the distinction they want to stay away from, and I think a lot of people, when they hear value, they still think cheap.
Yeah, and that's not what any of us mean when we say value. Cheap
like Little
is like
Caesars. You get a lot of pizza for little money.
Get a lot of pizza for that money. It's that it's a value. It's not that it's cheap and that you're just buying the cheapest thing you can buy that's garbage and that it doesn't.
$7 to $8.
$8.
$8.
But no, so this doesn't feel like you've gone for the bottom of the barrel. This doesn't mean cheap. Doesn't mean that it's got terrible interiors and it's loud and it's clunky and it has no features and it's just awful to drive. That's cheap. Value means that you're paying, what you're getting is surprising for the amount of money that you're paying compared to the other guys. And it's a value. That's what Kia and Hyundai both do. They are truly value brands. You will get more with those two brands for the same dollar than you will in just about anybody else. And value is a good thing. When someone says a car is a value or a brand is a value brand, that's a good thing. That means we're saying go buy it. It's good, especially if you have a limited budget.
You're going to get a lot more for your money.
Mm-hmm.
Than you would from everyone else, and it feels far more premium, even
exactly.
And then a lot more isn't like, oh, you get more features. It just feels more premium. You do get a lot more features, but it does feel premium.
And part of that is the feeling premium, Robbie. Like you said, it's not. I can rattle off these 10 features that it has. It's just you sit down in the car and you feel it like this is a nice car. I don't mind sitting here. This is comfortable. It's okay. Feels good. You sit down in a really cheap car, and again, it's not the features. It's the minute you sit down, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
It's something that's hard to quantify, but cheap and value are not the same thing. Value is a good thing. Cheap, not so much.
Not so much.
Not so much.
All right. Did we do destination charges? No, we didn't.
Oh, did I? Wait, let's see. I thought I did. Wait, let's see.
Oh, I've already seen it. Sorry, because I was looking up my write-ups.
Robbie cheated.
I'm sorry. Well, it's because we write it when we write it up. We put the destination charge right there next to the price. So it's literally like the second graph of my article.
What is your article? What do you have it as? I'm curious because
destination fee in May was $14.45.
Okay, my Monroney says $13.95.
Oh, so it went down.
That's
so it went
shocking.
down. Unless this was printed 6 months ago.
It probably was.
Right? So this could actually, probably yours is right and mine is wrong because this is probably
it's from March.
Older...
Actually, not May. Sorry. It's another month with an M in it. Smarch.
Smarch. I don't know, $13.95 on mine, so.
Let's see what it actually is.
Let's see, what is the website? What does it say currently?
It is currently the 3rd of May, 2026. And
at 12:20.
Let's see. Build your Kia.
I wonder if it's gone up or gone down.
Sportage. Build yours.
Sportage.
The Sportage.
Yes, put in my zip code. A zip code. Let's see. Summary. As of May 3rd, 2026, the destination charge is now $14.95.
So it went up. So mine's old
$50.
with the $100 less. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
$14.95, not $13.95.
So, $50 is.
That's so interesting. More. Since we've been playing this sort of game with the destination charges, how much of the time I'm holding a Monroney that says one thing, Robbie drove it and it says another, and Sam drove it and it says something. Like, these change a lot. I didn't think they always changed as often as they do now.
Well, the gas did go like through the roof, so I can understand $50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's like the one time. That's the one time I'm like, all right, it's $50. Gas is now like, I don't know what, $80, $90 a gallon now.
Yeah, about that much.
Well, here around me in Southeast Michigan, it went over $4.80 a gallon this week.
That's like regular for here.
$4.80. I know. You guys in California have crazy gas prices. I don't even know what ours is.
But then our roads aren't like pothole death traps either. So we got
because
that
you
going
don't have snow. That's not about what we spend. That's about the fact that you don't have snow.
We have a lot of roads.
And ice.
They're always
and
working on them.
But snow and ice and salt and what else?
We have snow. We're like half the state is a mountain. I grew up in snow.
You did. That's true. But every last
California is
square
a
inch
very large state. We got a lot of going on.
I mean, we always have construction here too. In fact, the old joke around here is, we only have 2 seasons, winter and construction.
Mm-hmm.
But despite the fact that they can perpetually seem to be working on the roads, they're always in terrible shape. So I don't know how that works out.
Yeah, whenever I drive around there, I'm like, you know what? Paying a little bit more for gas ain't so bad.
Well, I'm just glad that
driving around in my BRZ and nice roads.
I'm just glad our next Operation Frodo trip is going to be with all EVs. Coming up.
And it's
June.
In the summer, right? When is it? It's coming
it's coming
correct?
up in just over a month.
Oh wow, it's really close.
Yeah, we roll out of Omaha on June 7th. And actually,
is that where we're leaving? I don't even know where we're leaving. I just know where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
I was like, I don't know. I got a plane ticket.
I'm actually
going to show up.
driving from here. I leave here on the 5th because I have to drive the Escalade IQ from here to Omaha. So I'll be leaving here on the 5th of June. So
I'll see you on the 6th because that's where I fly into Omaha. And I drive to Salt Lake City and then I leave late the night we get there in Salt Lake City just because, But my work gives me time off for volunteer work.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, and this counts. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
my old job did.
Oh,
but my current job, I don't officially have time off for that, but Craig is pretty cool about that kind of stuff.
They're fine with it.
Yeah, it's a good cause. It's not like you're just going on vacation.
We're gonna be
stealing dogs,
moving a whole bunch of dogs from the Midwest up to the Pacific Northwest. With a fleet of EVs.
All right. Do you know how many dogs you're taking yet?
Right now it looks like it's going to be about 12 or 13 dogs.
That's a lot of dogs.
Wow.
Yeah. We got 4 vehicles, and we'll be moving about 12 or 13. Might go up by 1 or 2 depending between now and then, depending if they get some puppies or something.
Wow.
So
the dogs only get to drive an hour each, though.
Yeah, they have to take turns.
They got to take turns.
Tired
you can't
with
overwhelm
driving.
them.
They only have learner's permits.
Yeah,
so.
and we have to sit there beside them and watch them.
You have to be in the passenger side anytime the dog is driving.
Exactly,
totally reasonable.
Hitting the invisible brake.
I mean, you wouldn't let your teenager, the first time they're driving, go without you, would you? Well,
no.
Actually, maybe you would. Maybe you prefer that they go without you so that you survive. But all right, let's carry on.
I just found a typo in my Sportage article, so that's going to bother me.
Oh, no.
It's instead of kilowatt, it's KK instead of KW.
So
it's funny when we find typos like that, because I swear to God, for the general public, we proof the stuff that we write. You will read it and reread it. Other people read it and reread it. And the minutes it's published, you look at it, you're like, how did I spell Toyota wrong in the headline? Like, things you realize you've done.
Just little things. You gotta...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you spell Toyota with a D, that's only partially
correct.
Wrong. I mean,
guess it's
the family
correct.
still spells their name with a D.
I feel like I just spell things wrong because my brain autocorrects them. I have to look at, get a story ready, walk away for a couple hours and come back and look at it and I think, wait, I swear I had it right the first time. But
that's why you should always have an editor when you're writing, somebody, a separate pair of eyes to look at something. But even then,
it's not even that what you've written is good or bad. It's just you made typos. Your editor is going to find them. That is one of their responsibilities.
Yeah.
So did you rent a car, Robbie?
I did rent a car. I went to up near Yosemite, this place called Sierra Meadows. It's wonderful. If you're in California, you should go there. It's like glamping. They have these cabins, and we've been there a bunch of times. My band
What's it called?
Sierra Meadows.
I'm looking now. Go ahead.
So my band has played there a few times. That's how I know about it. And then since playing there, now I just go there on my own. So it was nice. So we always get we were thinking about taking the Ioniq 5, and they're like, no, let's rent a van for the dogs so they have more room and they're more comfortable as opposed to being cramped in the back of the Ioniq 5, which around town for like 2 hours are fine. but like, it's like a 4-hour drive. And so you roll the dice. You ask for a van and you're like, what are we going to get? And typically we get a Pacifica or the Voyager, whatever, the rental car name of the Pacifica.
The non-Pacifica
the
Pacifica.
decontented Pacifica.
Yeah, decontented Pacifica. This time we got a Carnival, the Carnival.
Carnival.
And still like the Carnival, up and down the mountain, with this Sierra Nevada, so, big mountains, total, all, freeway driving and then driving around in the area, like 24 miles per gallon, which is pretty good. On the way there, until we hit the mountains, we were averaging like 29 miles per gallon. But then,
is it a hybrid?
Nope, just a regular old car.
Oh, wow.
And so, and they were like, 29. And then I'm like, oh, wait, mountain. And so, lots of room. It does not have stow and go, which was, that's one of the things that's great about the Pacifica or the Voyager, is that you can put the seats all the way down so that whole big area is clear. This one had the second row had that middle seat, but we ended up taking it out. But we still had the 2 seats, and they don't lay flat. You got to like yank them out if you want a completely flat floor. That said, it was very comfortable. It still has, they don't want to call it, Kia doesn't want to call it a van. It's an MPV,
multi-purpose vehicle?
like the Mazda, the 5. Sure.
Whatever.
But it does have like a little bit of a higher like sitting position than say like the Pacifica or Sienna, just because they want you to feel more like you're in an SUV. That's like one of the things I find annoying about it. I'm like, I don't need to sit higher. I'm tall too, so there's that. But and that it's still, it has that display that you can switch back and forth between your climate controls and your volume. It's fine if you're by yourself. If you're with someone, you're always like, oh, they're gonna like, I got to switch it back, because if they might, if I leave it on media control, when they go to adjust their temperature, they might like, switch something, so that's still not a big fan of that switcheroo setup. I know they've sort of kind of taken it away in some cars, but it's still there in others. I think they're just kind of running through the stock. Like, we bought a bunch of these. It seemed like a good idea.
As vehicles get redesigned, that will go away.
It's one of those.
That's the one thing that annoys my wife about the EV6.
Yeah, that double, like, you got to tap it to change. Now you're doing volume. Now tap it again. Now you got to do no. Especially when you're going from like the Bay Area through the Central Valley to the mountains. I mean, that's 3 different, temperatures, 3 different areas. You're going to be adjusting your temperature gauge quite a lot. And then, we're driving, listening to music, and then we want to talk, we want to turn it down. And there was once or twice where I'm like, oh, I'm going to turn out the music. I'm like, oh, it's 80 degrees in the car now. That all said, no, it's a delightful vehicle. I really like driving the Carnival. It's very smooth. It handles, for what it is. And if you're not driving like an idiot, it handles really well. It's got the low ride height. The dogs really enjoyed it. The seats are very comfortable. Let's see what else. Yeah, overall, it was, it's a really, it's the Kia Carnival. It's still a really nice van. I think we're all team van here in the old,
absolutely,
bearings. There's just so much more you can do with a van than you can with an SUV. I'm always afraid I'm going to show up, before one of these trips, and they're going to be like, oh, we got you an Escalade. I'm like, oh, so when we get worse mileage, it's going to be harder for the dogs to get in because they got to jump higher. And it's going to feel like I'm driving, a boat versus a van, which does not feel like a boat, like, like a 3-row SUV. They feel lighter. They're easier getting in and out of. Escalade, hey, if I want to get picked up at the airport in a really fancy van, or if I'm taking a bunch of really fancy people somewhere and for some reason they don't understand that vans are better, yeah, sure, get an Escalade. But there's a reason why in like Asia, like if you get a nice vehicle to take you somewhere, it's typically a van.
Yeah, well, when I was in Japan the other week, they picked us up and dropped us off at the airport in a Lexus LM, which is one of these luxury minivans.
It's like the seats,
so nice,
because there's so much room that you end up getting like this really, it's like a lazy boy recliner in a car, because there's so much room in a van. So they have these really, really nice seats, and you're like, oh. So yeah, you can't do that in, a large 3-row SUV because it just doesn't have the space because they're so high up. So you're losing like a foot of like of like space by making it an SUV for whatever reason. Vans are just better. I'm sorry. We went I went off road a little bit in it, which I could again my thing about it, you could do it in a Camry. Yeah, you could do it in a Kia Carnival. Great car, pretty good gas mileage for what we were doing. I did have it in eco mode because again, gas here is very expensive. I think what was I paying, like $5.75? I can't find any places where it was like $5.75, and that's cheap.
During the last 2 Operation Photo trips, we had Carnival Hybrid both times, and so I spent time on each of those trips in the Carnival Hybrid, driving it up and over the Continental Divide, driving through Wyoming and into Utah, and we did not do quite so well with fuel economy, because we're at altitude and driving into like what felt like 50, 60 mile an hour headwinds most of the time. Oh yeah,
so you hit the headwinds. Yeah. Fortunately, we didn't have any headwinds this time. So, but the headwinds coming back from like LA, if you're coming in the afternoon, especially in the summer, like it just destroys once you get past like Fresno, it just destroys your mileage. And I don't care. I just want to go home.
Yeah. But you're usually doing that with the EV5 or with the Ioniq 5, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
And
so
you got all your free fast charging sessions with that thing. So
we only got like a month left. This is the last month of the car, and so now we're looking at either getting a used one or a new one. The deals right now for the new ones are sort of bonkers, like $11,000 off, like 0 APR, and I'm just like, well. Like, what's the, I'm doing a cost analysis right now. If we put a big down payment down, we can get a pretty good, deal. So yeah, it's the whole like, okay, we got to buy a new car. We got to buy another car. It's typically pretty painless for us. It helps that when we walk in, my wife's like, this is my husband. He writes about cars. And they're like, oh.
They don't try to hassle you.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, all right. And they're like, yeah, he's written for Car and Driver, and he's written for Wired, and they're like, oh, well.
More importantly, he co-hosts the Wheel Bearings podcast.
More importantly, he does co-host the Wheel Bearings podcast, where I will talk smack about your dealership if you were mean to me. Our local dealership has been very nice to me, so
that's good.
But yeah, Kia Carnival, great. If it looks more like an SUV than other vans. Or MPV, I don't know, man. Whatever. But if you have kids, man, I just don't. If you have bikes, if you like, there's so much more you can do with a van for your active lifestyle or your child rearing lifestyle than you can with an SUV. I'm sure you could probably tow some motorcycles with it. I mean, literally almost every car can tow motorcycles at this point. So, if you're towing a fifth wheel, then obviously
you could probably put the seats down and put the motorcycle inside the van.
Yeah, you probably could take the. We're getting a motorcycle. But yeah. Family members they've bought who are in the automotive industry who have purchased vans instead of what you would expect. Mercedes-Benz salespeople who are like, yeah, I got a Honda Odyssey, and I'm like, you know what, you made the good decision.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like last time I talked about driving the Lexus GX550 Overtrail Plus. This time I had kind of almost the opposite extreme within the Toyota Lexus lineup, with the Toyota Corolla FX. So this is a new variant of the Corolla hatchback, and it's kind of a callback to the mid 1980s when they had the original Corolla FX16, which was when they first launched twin cam 4-valve per cylinder engine. And Nicole, you were complaining about the 189 horsepower of the Sportage.
Yes, of the Sportage and its modest horsepower.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking up the original Corolla FX16 from like 1985, 84, 85. It had a 1.6 liter twin cam, 4-valve per cylinder, 4-cylinder, all of 108 horsepower.
Oh my gosh. 108.
Yeah.
108.
Of course, that car probably weighed about 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, true.
My 90 Honda Civic, I think, had 86 horsepower, and I blasted that thing everywhere. But the room, between me and the outside world was like 2 inches.
Yeah, well, that's like my Miata. Same thing. I had 116 horsepower. When I compare my Miata to the new one that I drove a few weeks ago, the doors on the new one are like 6 times as thick as mine. But the new Corolla FX has a 2-liter 16-valve 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated. It's 149 horsepower. Sorry. No. So it's a whole 169 horsepower and 151 foot-pounds of torque. That torque peak comes at 4,800 RPM, which is not ideal. Ideally you want a little more torque down low, especially for, smaller, lighter car like this, to help it get moving. But, it's adequate. It's adequate power. And this this one came with a, CVT. Let's see. Hold on. Where'd it go now? It's funny. They don't even mention the transmission in the spec sheet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because it's CVT. No one. It's like, hey, you want something cool?
Yeah. Don't look here. But it's all right. So it's funny. Even though I've complained about the sound quality of Toyota 4-cylinder engines, this one actually wasn't bad. And even with the CVT, especially if you put it in sport mode, it was the way they've got it programmed was actually pretty decent. So I have no real complaints with that. The Corolla hatchback is a little bit shorter than the sedan. It's a shorter wheelbase. So the back seat is a little bit tighter, but on the FX model, the one that I had, it's got these pretty cool looking white wheels. It's a seven dual spoke wheel. And, it's kind of a callback to 1980s rally cars. And it contrasts really well with the, the Inferno paint on this one. So it's kind of a reddish orange paint with the white wheels. And then it's got an extra black spoiler on top of the rear hatch. Some black trim, the mirror housings and the around the lower front grille, there's some extra pieces of black trim there. So it looks kind of fun. It's reasonably fun to drive. Like I said, it's an adequate amount of power, not a huge amount of power. But the CVT works well enough in this thing. And you can toss it around on some curves. It's got decent sized tires on it. And have some fun with it. And you can use the paddle shifters to do a little manual control, put the drive mode switch into sport mode, and it works okay. It's not bad. It's not a bad little car to drive. The seats, the seat backs, on the FX version, are, they've got like a fixed headrest. It looks kind of sporty. It's got a reasonable amount of lateral support. The Corolla has a little bit more piano black trim on it than I would like, but it's not overwhelming. It's not covering the whole dash. It's just around the screen and the climate control switches, and then around the transmission shift selector.
Just where your hands go.
Yeah, just the places that you're actually going to touch the most. Because you wouldn't want to miss out on those extra fingerprints.
For crimes.
Yeah. Cargo space is okay. And it looks fun, and, it's reasonable to drive. So can't really complain too much about it. Not a lot of options on this one. It had mud guards for $160, door sill protectors for $180. You can skip those. You don't really need those. And then, the connected services trial, so you get 3 years of Toyota connected services for $485. Again, if you are perhaps rightfully so increasingly paranoid about where all your data is going, you may want to take a pass on that one and leave your car unconnected. Toyota's not going to be happy because, they don't get all the profit margin from that, and they don't get to collect data on, where you've been, how you've been driving. But if you want to have support for the navigation system, things like that, then you'll have to get that. But if you can also just use wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, use the maps there, and just let Apple or Google and your wireless service provider track everything you're doing. So it's your choice what you want to do.
You don't have to have an account to use mapping software too. So there's that.
True. Well, I mean, that there's even without an account, you got to have an account to use the phone.
You can have a burner account. I have burner account phones, but it's sitting around.
Yeah. So grand total on this one on the Corolla FX came to $29,088. Would you like to guess at the destination charge?
$1,295.
Oh, I don't know, 14. I guess that was what I was going to.
Nicole's closer. It was $1,195.
Yay! Woohoo! I win. Just because I beat you, you were going to say the same thing.
So it's a decent little car. If you're looking for something that is kind of sporty looking and not annoying to drive, that is reasonably priced, the Corolla FX is a good choice, and definitely opt for the Inferno paint. I think that there should be more cars painted in colors like this, and it looks good with the white wheels. So that is the Corolla FX.
It's $10,000 less than a GR Corolla, so you got that going for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not quite as speedy as a GR Corolla. It is a lot quieter than a GR Corolla.
That's what radios are for.
GR Corollas can get a little loud, but
it probably doesn't shake your kidneys as
that's
well.
True. All right, let's carry on. So Nicole, since you were last here, you also had a first drive in another car from Infiniti.
I did. I drove the Infiniti QX65, which is an all-new model. It's not like a redo of an existing one. It is an all-new version, all-new car. And
this is sort of all new.
That's what Infiniti will say. It's new to Infiniti. They're new. They have not had a QX65 before. How's that?
They have not had a QX65, but well, I'll let you carry on.
Yes. But so this is the QX65 is a 2-row SUV. So it's a mid-sized SUV, tend to be luxury. They're building it in Tennessee, which is important only because it avoids all the tariff confusions, helps with some of the supply chain issues. So the fact that they're planning on building it here means it should be a little bit more consistent in availability once it arrives. And it starts at about just under $53,990. So it looks like anybody who knows older vehicles, the FX, if anybody remembers that, it kind of has that fastback styling that comes off of the FX. So it looks good. It really looks nice on the outside. It's kind of dramatic. It's kind of sporty. I really like how it looks. And they have this, the ones they had us drive, I guess I'm all about the paints today. Sunfire Red is the color of the paint. And it actually has real gold-coated glass flecks that are applied in a 3-layer process. There's actual real gold. And the funny thing was, Nick Miles, who I was driving with, said, how much gold? Like, if I scraped all the paint off the car, how much gold do I have? And the guy's like, I don't really know, but it's a $900 option, so it can't be much more than that. And then he finishes like, and please don't scrape my car to find out, Nick. So it has this, but it's real gold pieces, and it does look absolutely stunning. It's very pretty. It's most cars, when you have metallic, it's more of a silvery kind of metallic that you see, silvery white kind of metallic flecks. This definitely looks gold. It looks beautiful, and in the sunlight, it's a very, very pretty vehicle. Yes.
For reference, the current price of gold is $4,625 per ounce. So you're paying $900. You're not getting much gold.
You're not getting a lot of gold.
Most things that have gold aren't really like pure gold, because gold is really malleable. So like rings and all that stuff, like you couldn't like just have a
you
pure
couldn't get
gold
pure
ring.
gold, or it just bends.
It would just bend every time you like
smooshes.
move your hand.
Yeah, you would like pick up a glass and it would bend as you touch the glass. So to your SUV, there's a good amount of cargo room. There's 35.8 behind the second row, 67.7 if you fold them down. So it's a pretty roomy interior. And we were driving around in the, oh my God, I just forgot the trim level name. Luxe? That's the top trim?
Autograph?
No.
Isn't it Autograph?
Autograph? Calligraphy? I've gotten all my cars mixed up.
No,
Whose
Calligraphy is
was...
Hyundai.
Hyundai Autograph. It was the Autograph. My gosh, my brain completely... I'm like, oh my God, what's this called? So we had, the fanciest of trims, and it has open pore wood, and there's leather seats, and they're quilted, and it's very pretty. It's a very beautiful car. It's very comfortable too. For the drive that we did, it snugs you in the seats, but it's one of those things. There's enough bolstering without being too tight. I think there's good headroom for most of the 6-foot crowd, although in the back, I feel, Robbie, like someone like you, because of that fastback, you're going to, I don't know if you'd hit your head, but I feel like you might feel like it was right at your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that I'm doing a visual no one can see. This is a
No, we have
like
people watching
a video now.
Okay, not hitting your head.
We could do visual gags. Oh
right
my God,
here,
there's so many
like
things
right
we could do.
there.
Hold on. I've just realized.
Oh, I just got them started. Oh, dear God.
There's a giant cat head I could wear that's back there.
I think you need to do that next time. We just have to have all masks on when we start the show or something.
That's for the Halloween show.
For the Halloween show. So it is pretty roomy, and a ton of cup holders. I love that there's bottle holders. Okay, so when I was in the Kia, I had a coffee mug. I went to pick Russ up at the airport, and I had a coffee mug, big fat coffee, like container. What am I trying to say? Travel container thing.
You said mug. I think that works.
Mug. It wouldn't fit in the door. It would not fit in the door. So then when I got more coffee on the way home, because now we have the drive home coffee in the wee hours of the morning, I had nowhere to put this stupid empty mug.
Does it fit in the regular cup holders?
Yeah, but I'm putting my new coffees. That's for current coffees.
I know. I'm just curious.
I need a place to put old coffees.
Well, if did your old one still have coffee in it?
It didn't have coffee in it, but I can't just let what might be a little dribble of coffee roll around in the back of my press vehicle.
Clink, clink,
clink, clink, coffee, splash, clink, coffee, little. Yeah. So I ended up putting it in the thing. Probably not super good to do this, but I have my wallet where you would charge your phone if you were charging your phone, and I move the wallet sideways, and then I wedge the coffee cup sideways next to it to hold it. You don't have to do that in the Infiniti because it will fit into the side door. That was where that story's going. So go Infiniti.
That was a lot. I was like, man.
It was a lot, but I decided that was a super frustrating thing. I like that moment. I don't like not having a big bottle holder on the door. Power.
I have the issue with the Red Bulls. Like if they don't have the little, no, because they're thin.
Oh, it doesn't have the grippy
things that like the little holders that like retract when you put your can or cup or whatever.
Then it wobbles.
It's
and
like
it can tip over.
I got to be careful. I have to drink it really quickly once I.
See, there's challenges. Cup holder design isn't as easy as you think.
Yeah.
So power for this comes from a 2-liter turbo, 268 horsepower, 286 pound-feet of torque, 9-speed automatic all-wheel drive. It delivers it's powerful enough, but it's not super robust. They talked about this being a more engaging car than I think it really was. It's like I thought the Acura I drove was sportier. I thought it had a little bit more. It was more fun. It was a little bit more engaging. This is it handles beautifully, very smooth, very calm, absorb the rough road surfaces, nice quiet cabin. But I felt like it could have used a little more oomph. That didn't have as much oomph as I wanted, and the sound wasn't what I wanted. They talked a lot about the sound, and it could get a little bit loud, not in a good way. Like when you put it in sport mode, especially.
This is the complaint we've had about the Infiniti variable compression turbo.
Yep, exactly. So when you put it into sport mode, it revs higher, which is what you want a sport mode to do. But then it doesn't. There's a nice rev higher, and there's a, oh no, please don't make me do this, rev higher. And that's kind of how this one sounds. It just doesn't. I didn't like it. It sounded too loud, enough so that I popped it out of sport mode. I forwent the sport mode to not have to listen to how it sounded when it was in sport mode. So just don't put it in sport mode. And actually, there were more than a few people that said that. Exactly, turn up the radio relay. It does have a great audio system, so maybe that.
If you listen to Van Halen's 1984, you can't. It doesn't matter.
It has what is it? I always say Klipsch audio.
Yeah.
Klipsch. I feel like I have a lisp.
Which, believe it or not, is an American brand.
Is it really?
It sounds like it must be
We're
like
a melting
German or
pot.
something, but
No
it's actually an
kidding.
American company.
We're a
In my
melting
head,
pot.
I made it some European audio maker because it doesn't sound American, but go America.
Melting pot.
Melting pot. Wireless charging. The wireless charging has a little built-in fan to keep your phone from overheating. Brilliant. Because my phone overheats a lot in those, especially if it happens to be even like there's sun coming in. What?
If
What
you
are
have a
tapping?
case on your
Yes.
phone, like unless the case is made for it, it's gonna get warm because you're creating resistance, so it gets really warm. So yeah, and it doesn't charge. So if you have a little fan,
It's a little fan. That
or
was
you
a
can
big
take
thing.
your phone out of the case, but I'm not gonna do that.
No
Come
one's
on.
doing that. No one's taking their phone out of their case every time they hop in their car. So that was something I really liked. That was a little detail between the cup holders and the bottle holders on the door, and the fact that you had the wireless charging pad that didn't overheat your phone, because I put my phone on there the whole time. I was using it to stream stuff and like doing all the things to make it try and overheat. Nope. It was perfectly fine. And normally it would have overheated, so I like that. And its starting price on this, $53,990. So it starts affordably. It goes up, as you go up to the top trims. But I think, I think overall, is it 3 trims? Is there an autograph in this? I want to say, I keep thinking I was driving the Lux. No, I guess it was the autograph. So the Lux, I'm sorry, the Lux is at $53,990.
If you didn't have to worry so much about your coffee, you remembered this.
I know. It was
That's
the
the things
coffee
we remember,
situation.
though, when we drive cars.
It's the
We
things you
remember the
remember. Those-
weirdest things.
Right? It's the strangest things. You're like, you know what I hated? That's what I hated. So overall, I liked it. It's going to be their new entry-level model. So it's going to be where you're going to be starting with Infiniti as they're trying to sort of, what are they calling their product renaissance? They're trying to reinvent their brand. I think this is a good vehicle for them. I think a lot of people are going to like it. I think the problem is going to be that engine, that when you put it in that sport mode, it doesn't deliver quite as much as you want, and it's just not refined enough for a vehicle that is just so nice inside. Okay. I wanted it to be a more refined ride, a more refined engine. Not even the ride, just the engine.
Every vehicle's pre-installed Van Halen's 1984.
Robbie has found the solution, gentlemen. Infiniti, take him up on that.
You hit sport mode, boom, it just starts playing. Starts playing Hot for Teacher. You can't hear anything.
You don't notice the engine then.
Yeah.
So that was my feeling. So overall, I really liked it. I do think it's beautiful and it's comfortable and it hits the mark on all those things. Just doesn't quite hit the mark on the Yoli powertrain.
The reason why, I was saying at the beginning that, it's sort of all new. It is a new nameplate for Infiniti.
Yes, it
but
is.
It's not really an entirely new vehicle because essentially this is a QX60 with the third row removed and the roof chopped off to give you that fastback look.
Yeah.
That's, and that's fine, and in fact, I think for a lot of people that may be a better solution.
You don't need that third row.
If you're not using the third row, if you don't want the third row, that's why you got such a large cargo area. Because you got rid of that third row, and so you've just got all that space available to you. And when you put it side by side with the QX60, there's some details in the front fascia design that are different between the 60 and the 65, but you can pretty quickly tell that these are essentially the same vehicle.
Yeah,
most of the sheet metal is the same between the two.
But do you get gold paint?
I don't know. I don't know if you can get that Sunfire. I think the Sunfire paint might be exclusive to the QX65. Let's see if they have it on the.
I think no, it's exclusive. It's just the QX65. It's a new thing.
Okay.
It wasn't anywhere else. It is only in the QX65.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Everyone else, to heck with you. You don't get that. No other car.
Always believe in your soul.
Let's see. Just looking at the QX60.
Gold.
Yeah, you're right. It is not available on QX60.
Yep.
And this is only going to be the entry level model for a while because they've already said that there is a new compact crossover to replace the QX50 and QX55 that have gone away. And that's going to be a model based on the Rogue. So, a little bit smaller than this. That's going to be their new entry model sometime next year.
There you go.
All right. So let's carry on. So when, I think we've all driven the current generation Fiat 500e, right?
Yes, we have.
Oh yeah, I did.
Well,
I broke one of my GoPros.
what was the thing we all really raved about on this car?
That it was cheap.
It was the best Fiat. It's the best
I'm
Fiat,
just
even though it's
the only
a
Fiat we
bazillion
get.
dollars.
For reals? This is stupid.
I think we were all, and we all loved the fact that it was such a great value for dollar, right?
No.
Value. We talked about value.
So
value is
expensive.
important.
So, previously it was about $32,500 for a car with about an EV with about 150 miles of range. Well, apparently for model year 2026, Stellantis said, we're done. We're never going to do, $0 a month leases for 2 years on the 500e. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to raise the price by $5,000.
Perfect.
That's ridiculous. I don't get this at all. What's the logic behind this?
They don't want to sell it.
I think Antonio Filosa has, finally come to the conclusion that we have to just kill Fiat in the U.S. market without actually killing Fiat.
Make it impossible to make anyone make a rational decision that would involve buying that vehicle.
Yes, precisely.
So you could buy this, or you could buy an Ioniq 5. Cool.
Yeah. That will charge twice as fast and go
three times
at least
as far,
two or three times as far. Yeah,
more room,
and
overall.
carry passengers in the rear seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So in case you were thinking about a Fiat 500e, you might want to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
Jeez.
On the other hand, BMW is soon going to be launching the new iX3. They've started production in Europe, and it's going on sale in Europe now. And it will be coming to the U.S. market soon. And apparently, the range on this thing, which they have previously said, would be approximately 400 miles on a charge. They're now saying 434 miles on a charge.
Bum, bum, bum.
And so that's not too shabby. That's in fact quite impressive. And unlike some other cars that claim to go over 400 miles on a charge, BMWs typically at least meet and almost always exceed their official rated range values, which means that you probably actually will be able to go at least 430 miles or more on a charge in the iX3 50 xDrive.
Yeah, xDrive, by the way, it's all dim wheels.
Yeah. So really looking forward to trying this one out. Because this has got BMW's 6th generation electric drive system in there, so an all new battery. New motors, new version of the motors that they had on the i5 and i7. Even more efficient.
Even without rare earth magnets.
Yeah, without rare earth magnets.
The thing that other automakers are like, you can't do that. BMW's like, hold my Stein.
Hold my Stein.
And it now has an 800 volt electrical system. And I think it'll charge at upwards of 300 kilowatts, which, by North American standards is very, very fast. It doesn't come close to what you can get in China, but, it's very fast by North American standards. So looking forward to trying this out. My only complaint that I know of yet with this vehicle, you got to go into the touchscreen to adjust the vents.
Boo.
Come on, BMW.
I hate that.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo. Just
Boo.
what Robbie said. Boo. Just one big boo. Boo. Boo.
So, do you guys remember back in the day? I don't know if you're maybe old enough to remember when it was not uncommon for state police in many states in this country to be driving 5-liter Ford Mustangs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
don't ever remember those in New Hampshire. I was thinking about this.
We had them in California.
I don't know if we had them or if we just had very few of them. I always have thought of Chargers as being the police cars.
Before the Chargers, so there were 5-liter Mustangs.
Yeah.
Ford started doing a police package version of the Mustang back about 1986 or 87. And Michigan State Police had them, California had them, Florida had, a lot of southern states had them. I remember when I was driving.
We did. Apparently we did, but it was before I was driving, which is why I don't remember it, because I was never looking out for them.
when I was driving my 5-liter LX Mustang in the 90s, I always had to keep an eye out for blue Mustangs with a red light on the top. Those Ford stopped doing police package Mustangs sometime, I guess probably when the Fox body ended. I don't think they did any after that.
According to this, we currently have 30 state police Mustang GTs, though they're rare sights on the road. I have never seen.
Well, this is in New York.
Yeah, but I mean, it says New Hampshire
really?
has 30 Mustang GTs.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea. Okay, well, I got to pay more attention to other kinds of body stuff. Not that I need to do that, because I would never break the law on this.
No, you would never have any reason to.
I would have no reason to be
of,
looking out for this, but just for Mm-hmm.
I mean, we always drive 5 miles an hour below the speed limit just to be on the safe side, right?
Safe.
Just in case the speedometer's off a little bit.
Correct. You never know when it could be improperly calibrated.
Yeah. But the New York State Police now have a bunch of Mustang GTs. And they claim that they're about 30% cheaper than patrol SUVs like the Explorer. Currently the Explorer or the Ford Police Interceptor SUV, as it's officially known, is the most popular police vehicle in the U.S. But the New York State now has 19 GTs that they're testing as police interceptors on the highways. So New York has a relatively low speed limit anyway. I think it's like 65.
They're really hardcore in New York too.
Yeah, and they like to write tickets. So might want to watch out for gray Mustangs around you.
I like that they're like particularly they support enforcement efforts, particularly in aggressive driving, excessive speeding, and deterrence. Like how? What is the deterrent? They're like, oh, there's another car. Also, there shouldn't be, every time I see a police chase, I'm like, nope, that's not a thing that should be happening. Because you know what we have now? Helicopters. You just follow the car.
Yep.
People putting the public in danger, chasing people.
Yep.
Yeah.
So while I was in Japan a couple of weeks ago, I got an email from some PR person inviting me to come to an event in San Francisco the following Monday. So like I got back from Japan on a Saturday, and I think it was like on the Tuesday or Wednesday while I was in Japan. They invited me to come to the Dreame Next event in San Francisco the following Monday.
Oh, I saw about this. Did you go to this?
They even offered to fly me out and host me there. But being as I was in Japan, and it would have meant landing back home in Detroit on like Saturday night, and then turning around the following day and flying to San Francisco.
I was on vacation. They invited me as well, and I was like, I'm on vacation. Sorry.
So I took a pass on this, and I'm kind of glad I did. So Dreame is a Chinese company that mostly does like various appliances and home stuff. But they were introducing a car. What do they call this thing? The Dreame One or something.
The Dreame One.
It's electric, but it also has a couple of solid rocket boosters, and they claim 0 to 100 kilometer an hour, which is 0 to 62 miles an hour, in 0.9 seconds.
I was trying to understand this. How is it an EV but yet rocket boosters?
I mean, it mostly operates electric, but the thing is, solid rocket boosters, they're a one-use thing. It's like lighting off a firework. Same basic concept. You're lighting off some propellant that burns, and then you can never refill it. Basically, after
how does this work then?
After you've used it
One
once,
and done.
you throw it away, and you have to get new ones.
You got to go to the Dreame place and put some new Dreame rockets in your Dreame car.
This thing is just so ridiculous.
I don't
Do you
think
think
you
it's
can
gonna
ship. I don't think you can ship rockets through Amazon.
Or is
Not
this
yet.
just we want to do this one day, so this is not happening?
Yeah.
No, we'll never see this.
I mean, it's got some pretty cool specs that they've listed. There's a full brake-by-wire system. It's a fully dry brake system. No hydraulics. So it's electromechanical brakes. They claim 550 kilometers of range, which is a little over 300 miles. A solid-state battery. They say they're at 450 watt-hours per kilogram with a goal of 800 watt-hours per kilogram for the battery, which is pretty impressive specs. But, it is nothing more than a spec sheet. It has the Metis AI agent for each vehicle, whatever the heck that is.
What does that mean?
You got a chat bot in your car.
What does that mean?
And the AI works with all the other Dreame devices at your home. Again, what does that mean?
All the other Dreame.
As you're approaching the house, it turns on your lights and.
Do any of us have Dreame devices? Do we have Dreame at all in the U.S.?
They sell this stuff here.
We do? Okay.
Yeah, they have like robot vacuums and things like that.
All right. So, yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the slide here from the presentation. The solid rocket booster system. So there's 2 of these solid rocket boosters. And it says between the left and right rockets. Now imagine you get a pair of solid rocket boosters that are not on center. And if there's any mismatch between the output of those things or the timing, imagine what that's going to do to your straight line stability or your absence of straight line stability.
Yeah.
If one's putting out slightly more power and it's able to go from 0 to 60 in under a second, you're going to be just spinning like mad.
It sounds dangerous as heck.
Yeah, this is a horrible, horrible idea. Just don't.
But we all learned about their vacuums. And apparently they have electric toothbrushes.
And lawnmowers.
Yeah, so they worked.
Coffee makers.
My gosh, that is not specialized at all, is it?
Oh, they have robotic pool cleaners too.
Ooh, I don't have a pool.
Oh, I mean, now I'm in. That's the clincher right there.
Does it have a rocket booster, though? Like, if I really need it, like, oh, no, I got people coming over in 20 minutes. Quick, clean my pool with rockets.
All right. So I guess we won't be buying this Dreame car anytime soon. On the other hand, Nicole, I think of the 3 of us, you're the only one that's driven a car made by Lynk&Co, right?
I did. I drove
You
one
had a rental in Europe when you were
a rental in Europe a few years ago, a year ago or so ago. I did. That's right. I have. I picked it because I wanted to pick something I couldn't get in the U.S. I was like, was that a Lynk&Co? It was.
Well, they have just unveiled a new concept, the Lynk&Co GT. What do you think of this thing?
I mean, I think it looks great. And I have to be honest, I really like the car I drove. It was a really nice car. I had no real complaints about it other than not being able to find the charging port, which was a whole saga. But I liked the vehicle overall. And I think this looks really good.
I mean, if it had rockets, I guess it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or lasers or something. Yeah.
Rockets and lasers.
This one, unlike the Dreame that'll go 0 to 60 in 0.9 seconds, this one takes 2 whole seconds.
Oh my gosh!
That.
So it's slow.
Which isn't fun for most people, to be honest. I don't. If you've been in a car that does 0 to 60 in like under 4, like if you're the passenger, you're like, oh, It's some people. I've had people in the car with me when I've done that, and they're like, don't do that again. I don't like that. That's not fun for me.
I do not like that.
I've had multiple people be like, please don't do that again. And and for some people, I've seen people who do. I went to the Gigafactory opening in Reno 100,000 years ago, and they had a Model S there. And they're like, "Hey, we have a road you can do 0 to 60 in whatever mode was they had at the time."
Okay.
Plaid, ludicrous, I don't remember. And so I did it. I'm like, "Oh, all right, cool, yeah, it's fast." And my videographer was there with me, and the videographer's like, "Oh," I'm like, the guy's like, "You want to try it?" He's like, "Yeah." He got so overwhelmed by how fast the car was going that he forgot to brake. And so now we're coming to the end of the road, and he's just like, he's almost like hypnotized by the amount of power because he'd never experienced it before. He'd never done it before. And we're like, brake. He's like, oh, yeah. So I think some people like, you gotta. There's people out there who are like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then they're just their body just gets so incredibly overwhelmed by it because they're not used to it, or maybe
it's too much on public
it's too
roads.
fast. It's too much on public. Like where are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like when I had the Lucid Air, not the Sapphire, the one, not the one below it,
the Grand Touring,
and I did it like I had to wait till the middle of the night. There's a road, it's straight, but it's also uphill. There's just like all this stuff to like, okay, there's nothing around, so I could do it. And yeah, it was really impressive. And I'm like, okay, well, it's 10 p.m. I'm on a deserted road going uphill, going real fast. And once you've done it like 3 times, you're like, fine. You just sort of like, okay. You do it. The people who get these cars do it when they first get it a couple times. They show off to their friends, and then after that, it's like, whatever.
Yeah. Lynk&Co is part of the Geely group. So, Geely owns a whole bunch of brands. They own Volvo and Polestar and Lynk&Co and Zeekr. And they also sell vehicles under their own Geely brand, along with several other brands. And recently, Mike Floyd from Motor Trend was over in China, and he had the opportunity to drive the Geely EX2, which is this little subcompact. It's about the size of a Mini, Mini Cooper, and it sells in China for about $10,000.
Gosh, can you just imagine a car that cheap?
The headline is, I just drove a $10,000 Chinese EV, and it didn't suck.
Exactly.
I did a podcast about these prices. I'm like, that's, those are homologated for China. So
yeah. Right. We never know. The exact same car is not going to be that. Yeah.
If you look at the version they sell in Mexico, it's usually like double the price of what it is in China. So every time someone's like, people in China are getting cars for $10,000, I'm like, yeah, that's because they're homologated for China, and let's just say their stuff is also, no one in China ever goes quicker than like 30 miles an hour from what I've learned.
Yeah.
Well, like the BYD Seagull, that you can get for like $9,000 or $10,000 in China. In Mexico, it costs $22,000.
Yeah, so
which
it's
granted, is still
that's
including the tariffs. Mexico has pretty hefty tariffs on Chinese EVs, and so that's still a pretty amazing price for what is a very impressive little vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this car has physical vents.
Huzzah!
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have anything else that's physical, but it's got those physical.
It's got physical vents.
Well,
they heard Sam.
It's got a steering wheel that is mostly round. It's got cup holders with the little things in there to hold your Red Bull cans.
My Red Bull.
All right. There's a wire. Looks like there's a wireless charging pad there.
It has what you need to make a go of it.
Yeah. They say they estimate an EPA range, so pretty close to real world, of about 170 to 190 miles. Which is more than that $37,000 Fiat 500e by about 40 or 50 miles.
I'm still so upset about that Fiat situation. Don't bring that up again. That's making me so mad. Just axe the company here. Don't do that.
Yeah. Just forget it. It's over. So, obviously they would have to make a lot of changes to make it legal for the U.S. market, but still, it's a pretty impressive start.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially battery technology, China's still so far ahead of the United States. It's embarrassing, and but and these cars they're homologated for a different country. Again, most people, I was talking to an automaker about when China's once China had started getting a middle class, they started having automotive journalists. Well, some of these journalists, they start going on trips, and they because automakers want to sell cars to the Chinese public, and some of them were like, I've never gone faster than like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm from Shanghai.
Wow.
Like there's never a time where you're doing like 60.
Yeah.
If you live in a big city, you're just kind of cruising along very, slowly, which, if you're in a city, why are you doing 60 miles an hour anyway? But,
well, it's like Manhattan. The average speed in Manhattan is like 8 or 9
3.
miles an hour.
Yeah. The average speed in Manhattan is take the subway.
Yeah.
That's the average speed in Manhattan.
All right. So one last thing with Chinese EVs. Recently, we've talked about Canada did a trade deal with China that would allow in up to 59,000 Chinese-built EVs a year, at a relatively low, like 6% tariff rate. And one of the first companies to take advantage of that is Tesla. And I think Tesla previously, several years back, before they imposed the 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs, they did offer a Chinese-built version of the Model 3 in Canada, but then it went away with the tariffs. But they're back again, and so they are selling a base version of the Model 3 in Canada now, starting at that's built in China, starting at $39,490, and that works out to about $29,000 US. Yeah, 39,000 Canadian, which is about 29,000 US. Previously, the cheapest Model 3 available in Canada was $80,000 Canadian, so it's about half the price.
Wow.
And that they don't get into a lot of specifics. I looked earlier this morning. I was looking at the Canadian Tesla website. They don't say too much about it. It's listed there, but they do list the range as it works out to about 273 miles of range, which means that this is probably using an LFP battery, which is primarily what they sell in China. But still, 273 miles of range in a Model 3 for the equivalent of $29,000 US is
a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
that is a very good deal.
I mean, it's still a Tesla, and you got to make up your mind if you want to give your money to that company. But it's a decent value.
Good value.
Yeah,
I mean, good for them.
Suspension's gonna go out in about 60,000 miles, but then that's
yeah. You lease
the rear suspension is just so trashed.
Yeah, you lease it for a couple of years, lease it for 3 years, and then give it back. And
yeah, it's no Dodge. It's no Dodge Ram.
Yeah. And then finally, today, actually, right about now, I think the race has already started. The Miami Grand Prix Formula One race, I think, was starting at 1:00 Eastern time. They pulled it ahead because of expected thunderstorms later. But this season is the first season for the Cadillac F1 team, and to celebrate, Cadillac has they announced this weekend a new limited edition version of the CT5-V Blackwing called the F1 Collector Series, which is basically, it is a matte gray CT5-V Blackwing with a 6-speed manual transmission. All right. And it is the most powerful Cadillac to date, most powerful internal combustion Cadillac to date. The 6.2-liter supercharged V8 produces 685 horsepower, 673 foot-pounds of torque. I am a fan of the CT5 Blackwing.
That's a great car.
Yeah.
It really is.
And this one's got, Cadillac Formula One logos on the sill plates and the CNC machined F1 logo on the supercharger cover. And lots of F1 reminders of what you bought. However, they are only planning to produce 26 units.
Wow. Well, it's going to be a lot of money.
26. How much are they? Do you have a price?
They have not listed a price.
Just get a regular one.
26.
Just get a regular CT5. No one's going to know.
Yeah, get a regular CT5, put a matte gray or black wrap on it, and you'll be good to go.
There you go. You get 3D print on F1, whatever.
You're not going to notice the slight difference in speed because the regular one is like 670 horsepower, so you get about 15 extra horsepower.
You're going to be drifting all over the place anyway in this car.
Yeah.
I got one they gave me a CT5 in Las Vegas for CES one year, and people forget it's cold. The desert gets very cold in the winter,
It does.
and Las Vegas roads they have a lot of gravel in them. So they're not they're very slippery, and it rained. So everywhere I went, that car was sideways. I was like, wee. It's like 38 degrees.
Which would be great if there was no other traffic around.
Yeah, no, it was
but it's bumper to bumper traffic all the time.
My boss was like, I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, you want to go for a ride? She's like, I don't know. Everyone's been telling me you're like getting sideways everywhere. I'm like, that's not my fault. And also, they all lived.
All right, we do have a couple of letters from listeners today. First up from Mark. It's a fairly long one here. It says, I'm writing about a recent positive experience I had. Before I get started with the story, a little background. I live in Michigan, less than half an hour from Ypsilanti, which is where I live. And I've lived in Michigan my entire life. I've enjoyed your podcast for close to 8 years. Now on to my story. I was going grocery shopping and also needed to address my growing mileage anxiety, considering my car was down to 25% in reserve, or a quarter tank, according to my analog dial. I found a place to take care of my growing anxiety, 7 of them, on my way to the grocery store. So I started feeling better, until I stopped, shut off the car, popped the refueling door on the car. Then a new fear gripped me. Would I be able to hook up my car to this machine I was parked next to, or would I need an adapter? I've heard you have to have the right connection type, even when you've found a place to get your car back up to 100% range capacity. Then I quickly realized my car and the machine I was parked next to did indeed have corresponding parts. Crisis averted. The entire process of getting back to 100% range capacity took under 5 minutes, including the time needed to swipe my credit card, enter my MPerks number and passcode, and top off my car. Not enough time for me to enjoy a burrito, some roller hot dogs, or heaven forbid, sushi. Although I do enjoy sushi in restaurants, but eating wasn't why I was there. The reason why I wrote this email is it cracks me up when positive references when recharging electric vehicles are made. I have nothing against electric vehicles or the people who buy them. You do you is how I view it. Just don't go mandating a vehicle before there is a way for everyone to be able to charge them. Maybe it's just my stoic mindset or my quote-unquote flyover sensibilities. That's my 2 cents worth.
I mean, there was no mandate, but sure.
Yeah. But by the way, my car is a 2022 Camry Hybrid, which has averaged 43 miles per gallon since I bought it 3 years ago. And yes, I didn't buy it for its exhaust note. I have an SL63 AMG that fills that void in my life.
That fills that void.
Thank you, Mark.
63. Jeez.
Yeah, and I think, we've made it pretty clear that, if it depending on your lifestyle and what your needs are, an EV may be a great choice for you. It may not be. Depends on where you live, how far you have to drive. If you can charge at home, which is always the better solution than charging on the road, unless you're doing a road trip, which for most people is not frequent. So get what works for you. A Camry Hybrid is a great choice. That 43 miles per gallon when gas is close to $5 a gallon, or $82,000 a gallon as it is in California. That's a great option for a lot of people.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So, get what works best for you. In our case, in our household, an EV works great. My wife is loving having an electric vehicle right now. But she also doesn't do that much driving. So
we do a lot of driving. We still use it. I mean, we just charge at home.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do all this stuff.
And then finally from Andy, got an email from Andy via Patreon the other day. A random question. Is the Nissan e-Power an e-Rev system? If not, why not? And if so, why isn't it described as such? Love your work. So I did respond to Andy, but I wanted to bring it up here. Technically, yes, it is an e-Rev. The way the term, there's a lot of marketing that goes behind the various terminology.
I mean, e-Rev's pretty new. Like before, we would just say like a cereal hybrid.
Yeah.
No, cereals, not cereal. It's a delicious cereal Captain Crunch hybrid. E-Rev is like a pretty new, like sort of like term.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it first popped up, actually almost 20 years ago now with the Chevy Volt. When the original Volt concept came up, that was the first time anybody really started talking about it as an e-Rev. And so basically when we talk about an e-Rev, what we mean is a vehicle that the wheels are driven purely by electricity, like any EV, but there is an engine that keeps the battery charged and and drives a generator to provide the electricity to the wheels. That, in the case of the Nissan e-Power system, technically that is true. It would qualify as an e-Rev. In the case of the Volt, most of the time, under most driving conditions, it also qualified as an e-Rev. Something like the the Ram 1500 e-Rev. That one, when the wheels never ever drive the engine never ever drives the wheels directly, but it can also drive on the battery alone without the engine running. So generally, kind of the way the industry has done it is e-Rev is used to refer to a series hybrid that has a plug and a large enough battery that you can do some amount of driving with the engine turned off. And then, the engine can come on when the battery starts to get depleted. In the case of the Nissan e-Power system, at least as it is sold today, it does not have a plug. So the engine is basically going to be running most of the time because it has a relatively small battery like other hybrids. It's configured differently from like a Toyota hybrid system because it is a series hybrid. And there's no mechanism for the wheels to ever drive, or for the engine to ever drive the wheels. So that's mainly what this, what has become what most people refer to as an e-Rev. That there's a plug and a large enough battery to drive on electricity alone with an e-Rev. And something like the Nissan is just considered a series hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
Cereal hybrid. Made with cereal.
Cereal series.
Cereal hybrid. I went cereal.
I went cereal. I've driven it. It drives really well. It's really nice. It's a nice system.
Yeah.
Stomped on the gas a bunch of times. It didn't sound like it was going to explode.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's always a nice, whatever. Your car doesn't sound like it's going to explode.
Yeah, you don't want it to sound that way.
I'm still excited about Mark's SL 86 AMG. I'm like, man, that's a great 2-car garage.
Yeah, Camry hybrid and SL.
So you're like, well, I also got my SL. I'm like, wait, what? It's like out of nowhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a garage like that.
That's a really nice 2-car garage there, Mark.
Although, I would probably take, a Civic or a Accord hybrid over the Camry, but, that's just me.
Well, he can go off-roading in the Camry. So, as I've noted many times.
All right. Any final thoughts, anybody?
I don't have any. That's it. That's all my thoughts for this Sunday afternoon.
All right. And we will talk to you all next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.